Hello and welcome to the FI Newscast, where we bring you relevant news in the food and beverage industry. Today is Friday, September 1st, 2023. I'm Susan Choi, your host for this show. We have a special guest for you today. His name is Joseph Chen, and he's the founder and CEO of 𝗖𝗄 𝗏𝗏, a research management and consulting firm specializing in the food and beverage industry. But first, let's cover some of the top stories from this week so far. We start with a focus on the U.S. economy, which added 177,000 jobs in August. That number represents the smallest increase in 5 months. This is according to the latest ADP employment report. ADP chief economist Neela Richardson noted the trend was in line with pre-pandemic norms and followed 2 years of exceptional gains tied to the post-pandemic recovery. The leisure and hospitality industries added 30,000 jobs during the month. Meanwhile, the U.S. GDP rose at a revised 2.1% annualized pace in the second quarter, falling below the government's previous estimate. But household spending was revised to a higher pace, making the average of the two measures the highest it's nearly been in a year. The continuing concern over global warming has only strengthened in the farming space. The New York Times has done an in-depth investigation into the groundwater crisis in America. The Times has found that the current rates of water siphoning are beyond sustainable, while tens of thousands of water sites have hit all-time lows. The excessive output of water combined with the effects of global warming are damaging crops across the country. Over in other nations, droughts in Canada and Italy have weakened wheat crops and, in turn, skyrocketed pasta prices. Retail weights went up 12% in Europe and 8% in the US this year. The impacts of dry weather are also hitting Asia, where El Niño is harming crops such as rice, palm oil, and wheat. And even France's Bordeaux region is fast becoming a victim of changing weather, as the country is paying winemakers to rip up grapevines. The growing climate changes and decline in red wine consumption have made the famous drink's future shaky at best. In industry news, another company hands in a Chapter 11 filing. Rite Aid is planning to declare bankruptcy. The company is taking this route as it faces more than $3 billion in debt load from the 1,000 plus lawsuits claiming that the pharmacy wrongfully filled painkiller subscriptions. Rite Aid has not agreed on any settlements with plaintiffs, and the cases will currently be treated as unsecured claims. This filing will open a path for Rite Aid to resolve the multiple lawsuits in a single entity. The company has denied the accusations made before them. Instacart has gone public, and a very famous name is already going big on stock purchase. PepsiCo has agreed to buy $175 million worth of Series A preferred convertible stock. The move comes as CEO Ramon Laguarta seems to be expressing a big focus on digitally based business models. The company recently showed strong sales performances, with Laguarta attributing the success to, quote, having better data, having better digitalization, and execution capabilities. And PepsiCo is not the only one making digital investments. General Mills has spent more than $100 million in tech innovations to support digital and performance-based marketing, and states it is already seeing returns on their investments. Finally, PepsiCo makes more headlines, this time in sustainability. The soda giant recently announced that they will now use paperboard multi-pack wraps and clips to get rid of plastic rings in the US and Canada. The paper-based packaging will extend to many of its brands, including Pepsi, Starry, Gatorade, and Mountain Dew. The packaging is also recyclable, and when fully rolled out, will expect to eliminate millions of pounds of plastic packaging. It's part of a company-wide pledge to reduce plastic use from non-renewable sources across all brands by 50% by the year 2030. And those are your top stories. We're going to turn now to our special guest. He is the CEO and founder of 𝗖𝗄 𝗏𝗏, a consulting firm specializing in research management and insights. He focuses on multiple aspects of the food industry, including consumer and shopper behavior, foresight, and understanding global markets. He has worked with a variety of companies such as McDonald's, Tropicana Brands Group, Unilever, and LVMH, to name a few. He has 18 years in the business, and we are lucky to have him today to get his take on the industry trends. Please welcome Joseph Chen. Joseph, hello. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Hello. So nice to see you.
Yeah, you're a great friend of the Food Institute. We always love having you, whether it's as a guest or as a contributor. So, thank you so much again for your time. Let's just jump right into it. The topic we are going to focus on today, I'm very excited about premiumization It's a fun word to say.
Yes.
It's a fun word itself. But Joseph, tell us, in the food and beverage industry context, what is premiumization? Define it for us.
For sure. So in my mind, premiumization is really about offering the elevated experience through food and beverage in both retail and also food service. So the elevated experience could mean different things to different consumers. But however, from what I have seen in the market and also what I heard from consumers, there are different ways to really bring that elevated experience for brands. So the first one is really around that unique or rare to find, less accessible ingredients. And then the second is really about how the products are made. So any sort of certification, either organic, non-GMO, or the sourcing story. Is it handmade? Is it locally produced? And then the last one is really about collaboration. So any sort of partnership to bring that elevated or unexpected impression about the brand, product, or service to life. That's sort of what I have seen so far, and it's my personal definition around premiumization.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you for the excellent summary. What I find so interesting, Joseph, is the fact that this trend is existing, especially in light of inflation, in light of all the talk about recession. And you see, in statistics, shoppers overall, they want to spend money. You see the shift, towards private label brands, right, over national brands. You see, consumers, really conscious of the fact, in numerous surveys, they're really conscious of the fact that, the economy is not doing so well right now. So talk to me, Joseph, why is premiumization at the same time, amidst what I just talked about, why is it so prevalent right now to consumers?
I think in general, consumers still want different and unique experiences, either through food or any sort of services. The attainable luxury really gives consumer a sense of reward. So even though everything is now more expensive, we're seeing consumer making trade-offs. So instead of taking an expensive European trip, they might opt in for a local trip or have a nice lobster dinner at home. Consumer are also less likely, from what I have seen, compromise on the product and services that really benefit their health. So for example, a consumer who lives a really a gluten-free, organic, or vegan lifestyle, they will not go back to start eating meat just because everything's becoming more expensive. They might watch more Netflix at home, or instead of going out to a nice fine dining restaurant or out to a movie theater, they just will be making more a trade-off to make sure that they can still have that more unique and also different experience through the food and beverage.
That makes a lot of sense. Just thinking about, human nature. I mean, we do react to situations. So if the economy's bad, we want to hold back on spending. But at the same time, we still want the good things in life, right? We want the finer things in life. So that makes a lot of sense what you said, Joseph. Can you tell us what are some key drivers towards premiumization? You did mention certification, especially within the organic space. Can you get more into that? What are some key elements of premiumization?
Yeah, for sure. In general, consumers, they want better quality product and services. And the reason is because quality means the food tastes better, fresher, there's more care in creating the product. And on the food service side, there's a general perception that service is likely better at a higher quality restaurant, and then you'll likely be getting more a curated experience. Secondly, is consumer, they want products that are better for you. So there's a overall perception that premium products are likely better for you. Premium products are better for your body and your soul. There is a perception correlation between premium and also health in general. So premium products are healthier. Everything that's a bit more expensive is likely somewhat better for you. The third driver is really that sense of reward for myself and also for my family. I work hard, so I have a stressful day. I deserve something better. So when the economy is great, obviously, when consumers have more disposable income, consumers, they can really sort of reward themselves every day. So during the economic downturn, like I mentioned earlier, consumer will likely make more trade-offs. They still want that unique and different experience. So instead of taking a family trip to Mexico, they might be buying a jar of caviar so everybody can enjoy. So it's really like the sense of reward is really important because like you mentioned earlier, like you still want that something to treat yourself, right? That's just a human nature that will never like go away.
That's really interesting. I also want to ask, it came into my head, a follow-up question. Joseph, from what you've been seeing where you are, have you noticed when it comes to premiumization, we know this trend has we're seeing this trend across all categories. Is there a particular category that you're seeing people shifting to in particular, like whether it's premiumization in CPG versus wellness versus the food service space? Are you seeing any areas, where people are particularly drawn to when it comes down to a category, or are you just seeing it across the board? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, it's generally across the board because we're seeing that in both retail, so like either like consumer products, like or even food service. So there's like tons of example in terms of like some of the food service operators are really like looking at either like partnership, collaboration to really bring that more unique and curated experience to consumers. And then we're seeing a lot more like innovation like in the marketplace, like either like like product with like a infused with certain type of like unique, like unusual ingredients to bring that excitement and that more like luxury experience for consumers. So we're seeing that sort of in like different spaces, even in beauty as well. So we're seeing even in the beauty category, there's a lot of like premiumization going on, like in some of the recent innovation that's been like in the market. So like I feel like the premiumization is actually a bit all over the board because we're seeing example popping up like yeah, all the time.
All right. And I know coming up, we are going to definitely get into those specific categories, examples. We're going to talk more about the effects of premiumization. I love saying that word. We're going to take a quick break first, but when we come back, we will have more on premiumization with Joseph Chen of 𝗖𝗄 and Dragon. Stay with us. We are back with Joseph Chen, founder and CEO of 𝗖𝗄 and Dragon, a research management and consulting firm specializing in trends and insights in the food and beverage industry. Joseph, thanks again for joining us. Let's get back into premiumization. You had astutely been describing how the trend of premiumization is prevalent across all categories of the food and beverage industry. Let's get into examples. Let's start with ingredients. What ways are foods being premiumized? What spotlights are being shown on certain ingredients? You mentioned caviar. I can think of truffle. Can you expound on that a little more?
Yeah, for sure. So what we've seen in the last number of years is that more elevated experience through adding that perceived premium ingredients like truffle, caviar, saffron, like ingredients that are more unattainable into a more classic traditional like menu items like fries or retail products like chips, popcorn, like something that's really familiar and also accessible. So popcorn, heirloom like popcorn, it's one perfect example. Like it's popcorn infused with truffle for that really like elevated everyday experience. Truff is a condiment brand that offers sort of a range of like hot sauce, oil, mayonnaise, like pasta sauce, all infused with truffle. And then they actually have like two different lines. Either like you can get those experience with like black truffle or with white truffle. Like they even talk about like how they use agave nectar from Jalisco, Mexico, just to give out that additional elevated feel. like 𝗖𝗶𝘁𝗵 is a line of gourmet popcorn. They also have a very elevated innovation with partnership with like Oscar, Beverage Wine, Bacardi. Even their existing product, like the peach Bellini candy peach wine popcorn, just sounds super delicious. They all like very elevated and delicious. Like on the food service side, like I don't know if you guys seen like Shake Shack also recently like launched the white truffle burger earlier this year with a white truffle menu featuring like sauce-made from regulars like food, their organic white truffle oil. They also offer like a top like white tablecloth like tasting menu for $20 per person, limited time, 1 week only. So there's tons of example just in that more like using ingredients as a way to really elevate a product offering.
That's fascinating. Talk to us about premiumization in the CPG space. We have been seeing so much M&A activity of brands being bought out by larger companies. Give us some examples. What are you seeing, and what does that all mean, all of that activity?
Yeah, so in the CPG, there's a lot more what we're seeing from like how products are made, like how ingredients are sourced, and also where the ingredients come from. Obviously, like one of the most prominent is for the organic category. So we continue to see like growth in the organic category with an annual growth rate about like 13% over like, and with projection like to continue between like 2023 to 2030. So we continue to see sort of the elevation in terms of organic. But Rao's Italian pasta sauce, the way how they talk about the sauce are like simmer slowly, made in small batches, only the best ingredients like the pure Italian olive oil, like hand-picked. You can see like naturally ripened tomato use, like only sourced from Italy. So with description like this, really justify in terms of the premium of the product. Like I think it's like about $14 per jar for the product. So Campbell's actually recently made the acquisition of Sovos brand. So they bought it for like $2.7 billion. But like the Sovos brand, because I think the line of the product that they have tend to be more premium. So the business actually grew like 34% in the fiscal year of 2022, which is amazing. So I'm not sure if they overpay for the business, but obviously it's a fantastic acquisition for Campbell's to really like have that premium portfolio in their existing, really complement well within the existing portfolio that they have. And I believe Food Institute actually recently published an article about this acquisition.
Yes, that's right. Thank you for the plug. That's right. It's such a fascinating acquisition to look at, and as I mentioned before, we're seeing more of that trend, right? Was it Mars' acquisition of Kevin's Natural Foods, Unilever's acquisition of 𝗖𝗄? I think that's a Greek brand, like a Greek brand. So it seems like Joseph, we're going to continue to see that trend as we see the continuation, right, of people want to feel good seeing those words pop up: quality, organic, right? I mean, give me your thoughts about that.
Oh yeah, so you will continue to see more of that acquisition happening in the CPG space, because it takes so much effort for like big companies to really like build a premium line, because there's just so much like research and also like strategy work that's involved to really get something going. So when a business able to like a startup able to like establish itself in that space, it's probably like more likely for this like global organization to really like make that acquisition. It's just much easier for them to like to really take the concept and scale it. So definitely, we're probably going to see more of that in the next number of years to come.
Let's go into premiumization when it comes to company marketing strategy, collaborations, partnerships. I think we've seen some interesting projects done by Tim Hortons, right? Grubhub. Joseph, can you tell me about what what they have been doing, and what that means, how those are good examples of premiumization, in that context.
For sure, yeah. Grubhub, as you guys all know, like it's like a third-party delivery app. They just recently launched like MasterChef Table, which is a delivery-only virtual restaurant featuring recipe from the MasterChef winners. So consumer can really have that elevated meal experience from their favorite MasterChef winners. So that was an interesting and really, really exciting collaboration. And then obviously for Tim Hortons in Canada, and I believe in the US as well, they did a collaboration with Justin Bieber. So they had the Biebs Brew and also Tim's Brew. Like all these are like very curated. Like they actually work with like Justin Bieber to really develop these recipes. So these are really limited edition offering, and they really create that scarcely, really elevating that experience for consumers. One thing that I have heard is that the merchandising collection, like the fanny pack, apparently was selling for about $2,000 US in the marketplace. Another like great example is like Oreo. Like obviously it's my personal, it's really dear to my heart, my personal favorite. Like Oreo is a king of collabs. So like they recently, actually in 2020, they did a collaboration with Supreme. And also more last 2 years ago, they did a collaboration with Lady Gaga. But with the one that they did with Supreme, I was reading the news somewhere that the Supreme Oreo back in 2020 was sold for like $17,000 on eBay. So you can see that like there's so much hype, but like at the end, it's really that net impression that they give to consumers, right? Consumer, when you think about it, you see the brand as really innovative. You see the brand as really like doing something new and different. So bring a lot of excitement to the brand by having collaboration with another brand to really bring that really curated experience for consumers.
Wow, that's fascinating. Bringing a lot of great points to the table regarding premiumization, a trend that doesn't seem like will die out anytime soon. Joseph Chen, founder and CEO of Leo and Dragon, a research management and consulting firm. Thank you so much for joining us, Joseph. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Before we go, we're going to take a look at what's coming up in the food industry in the coming days. On Wednesday, September 6th, Dave & Buster's Entertainment Inc. releases latest earnings for Q2 fiscal year 2023. And I want to mention once again that FI is partnering with 𝗄𝗶𝘁𝗵𝘁 to provide live stream coverage of its Food and Beverage Trade Expo in Dallas, Texas, from September 27th to the 28th. We'll have interviews with key figures in the industry, as well as on-the-ground event coverage. You can go to foodinstitute.com for more information. And in an exclusive bonus, FI members can register to attend this event for free. Click on the link in the description of this newscast to find out more. And that's our show. Thanks so much for watching. I want to remind you to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our social media channels. The support really makes a difference for us. Thanks again for watching. Have a great weekend and take care.